Hey friends, welcome to episode 6. This is part 2 of my interview with Mrs. Becky DeBlaey in our series, When Lions Roar. And I can't wait for you to hear how we chose that name. If you haven't listened to episode 5 yet, I highly encourage you to go back and catch it, because we set the stage with some really eye-opening insights. As a quick recap, Miss Becky brings years of experience in Christian children's education and a master's in child development. In recent years, she's become deeply fascinated with the spiritual formation of a child. Last episode, we closed with a bold statement: parents are not doing their job. But Miss Becky didn't take that at face value. She dove into research, and the insights she uncovered are incredible. I can't wait for you to hear what she discovered, so let's get ready and dive in.
Still was thinking, what about the spiritual formation? Because man is a whole being.
Yes.
So I took that question and I thought, what am I going to do with it? And I also was then looking at research, not just quantitative, but qualitative research. So what I was learning in that, what I was introduced to in that audited course was not quantitative research, but qualitative research, excuse me.
Mhm.
And they're two different.
Mhm.
And I learned that the best research is both combined.
Sure.
That'll give you the best outcomes in your research. I learned that through my educational masters. I thought, okay, that needs to be structured in a certain way. And we know there are a lot of people that have done quantitative research on spirituality and spiritual development. And we have all of these statistics. And I'm going, well, are we living with the question to let it give its own answers and form the other questions that need to be asked? The two researches, you start out with a postulation to be proven or disproven. And the other is you start out with postulation and see it where it leads you.
Mm.
So it may change.
Right.
It may change.
Yes.
So I thought, okay, then I need to get as close to the family without any ties to anybody. I thought, well, then how can I make this a research program?
Mm.
Because who am I going to say anything to, anybody to, that I was doing research?
Uh-huh.
And how am I going to say anything about it?
Right.
And I thought, well, that's not my business. My business is to find out what it means to have a child be formed spiritually.
Mm.
So I wanted to be in the home. And I just thought, how am I going to do it? I talked to my husband. I said, and all other doors were closing for a job. I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I looked at a nanny website and I put my name in there, put my bio out there, and I got interviews. I thought, this is what I'm going to do.
Mm.
And so God allowed me many opportunities to be in many homes. I realized in our location that being a part-time nanny was the way I should go. Because to be a full-time nanny, I wouldn't get much opportunity to be in as many homes as I could be in.
I see.
And I really wanted to be with as many people, as diverse as I could. And I thought, well, that's not good enough research because my pool of material was so tight.
Right.
To just where I live, 50 miles from where I live, basically, or less. So, I just trusted it to God. And what has happened has been so exciting to me.
Wow.
I get giddy with laughter. I'm just going, this is so much fun. This is so much fun. Because he's shown me some great, wonderful things that I never anticipated. And that's the type of research I did. It leads you down pathways that you don't know. So what happened with that thought, parents are not doing what they should be doing. My question was, do parents know that they are being qualified by that statement? If so, what do you think it means to them? And what does it mean to the person who threw it out there?
Mm.
And now what is either party going to do about it? And I saw parents doing some very good things. And parents that I was with, on the whole, were doing good. They were making it.
Mm.
It wasn't easy. They had their struggles.
Mm-hmm.
But they were making it. They weren't falling apart. They had some issues, and they had some big issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at it and I'm going, there's help for them. I know there is.
Mm.
There's help from social services. There's help from law enforcement. There's help from the church. There's help for them.
Yes.
And there's even help from them from clinicians. And there's help from them from the government. And I can remember telling parents, do you know that this is already paid for? You can go do this. And I get so happy about it. But they had to make up their mind and they had to choose. And I saw parents struggling with perception, how they were perceived. And it really came down as how they perceived themselves.
Mm.
And so I came to the conclusion that they needed to be encouraged. One of the things that I did in early childhood education, that was my way of being with kids. And I spoke this in educational circles. I said, I look for the spark in a child and fan it into a flame. So that's how I approached any child. I looked for their spark and fanned it into a flame. So I looked for what was good, what could really thrive in the child. And I always worked from that point with the child, always, no matter what their ability. And so that was already structured into me. So I thought that's what I needed to do for the parents. So when I was with people, I always look for the spark to fan into a flame. So it became a time of offering encouragement and help. Say, I'll help you with it. I'll help you. This is difficult. I understand. It's not easy to get this all done. I had trouble with it too. I'll help you. What can I do? And I can remember talking at great length with some moms because they had to have time to process it and ferret out what they really needed because they were so overwhelmed. What could I do for them in the time that I could give them?
Right.
Because we're all structured under the clock.
Yeah.
We've got morning and night every day.
Yes.
So, that's how I moved. That's how I moved. And what I learned, the wonderful thing that I got from as a binding part of this collection that I've had through nannying is working with the construct of the accusation or the assessment. In teaching, teachers always are assessing, always, but so are people. We are always assessing. And what I found out, what came to me was the pointed finger. If you get a picture of Uncle Sam's poster, Uncle Sam needs you.
Yeah.
And if you look at that pointed hand and see the position of the fingers, you will see one and possibly the thumb pointing out. But then there are 3 fingers that are pointing backwards. And it just came to me, where is the most energy being generated? It's not out in front, it's backwards.
Yeah.
And so knowing that, whenever I started to get into a position where I was assessing, I went, okay, what do I need to do? Because I realized I could not change another person.
No.
I could only change myself.
Wow.
So that is a standard in my way of thinking. Whenever I get to that position, if I say something about a car, I'm assessing it. If I make a comment, I always think, okay, what are you dealing with, Becky? What's the issue? Why do you have to make this comment? Why do you have to make this assessment?
There's something within
There's
us.
something. So when I drape that over that question, it's generational. And then it was just, I was getting ready for the marriage of one of our sons. Going to pick up furniture that I had found on Craigslist, right? To make room for guests. And I picked up this furniture off the porch of this woman's house. And we just got talking because I like to get into a conversation and ask them how they are, what's going on in their life. And so we got to that point and she said something about kids these days. Parents just aren't doing what they should be doing. And I went, really? So far from academia, so far from being in where I was, that I just went, it's still there. And it was generational. So I thought, oh, that's generational. And I continue to keep looking for that. But now I'm looking for the assessment. What is the assessment? Whatever the assessment, where does it come from? It's coming from a child, an adult, or whomever. I had an interesting thing just before summer began. One of the children I was with, she broke her ankle, and it was the last week of school, and she was at the level of school, and her mother wanted her to continue to go to school, and so she was going to put her in a little scooter. She refused to use the scooter, but she could not bear weight on her foot because they didn't know exactly what had happened, but they were really concerned for her, and they had to wait for the swelling to go down and to have it reassessed. And I was talking to her, and her mother had talked to her, and I'm thinking, what's the deal? Scooters are nice. I said, I had a scooter. I loved it. And no, she was not going to. And she came up with this phrase, and it was so good. And it fits in this umbrella of assessment because we also assess ourselves. But why do we assess ourselves? We're pointing outward to be evaluated by how we are inwardly. And she put it so well. She says, I'm not going to use a scooter because I'm not going to commit social suicide. And I loved that phrase. So when we assess ourselves from others, we're struggling with who we are and how we fit into society. So that phrase of having social suicide. And I think that parents struggle with social suicide. How are they seen by others? How are they seen by their parents? How are they seen by their job mates?
Yeah.
How are they seen? And we want our children to be a good reflection of ourselves. So it's like, wow, what are we going to do with this? Then you have to grapple with what's going on inside yourself.
Right.
So when you get an assessment, when parents, okay, we've got an assessment going on here. How does it feel? Where are you with it? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to deal? Or are you going to bury? Who are you going to ask for help? Where are you going to go for help?
Right.
Do you want to hear some resources? How open are you?
Right.
So I look for the openness, and that isn't a question necessarily, but when you listen to people, and then you have to say, what difference does it make to you? Because you're assessing.
Yeah.
So, it was such a good thing. I just love that. That's a big thing that came out of this whole business that I've been in as being a nanny, is that whole piece of the pointed finger. And I've used that with kids. I've told adults. I've shared it multiple ways on multiple platforms because you cannot change another person. You can only change yourself.
That is so powerful because, as parents, I want my children to respond how I need them to respond. But
yes.
That's a big switch.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So I answered that question in a big, big way, but there's so much more to it because there are different layers of all of that. How do we get to that place of recognizing that we are assessing because we deny that? We deny because we have the right to have our own opinion. And we have a right to speak up for ourselves, which is true. We're not going to not defend ourselves. But when we do, we still have to deal with where the energy's going. We can't get away from it. It's pervasive. So there are many layers to that question, and I've been curious about, and I still am. I don't know how to tie that piece together, but the pointed finger has given me a real good resting place.
Yes.
That there is a way that I possibly can bring that together and say, this is what I've learned. And so that is the shell of what I learned. And there's a lot of nuts in it. There's a lot of nut meat in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Encouraging. We're part of a whole, and we are whole people.
Yes.
And it takes us working together.
All right, guys, this is the end of episode 6. What stuck to me is we went from exploring how children grow spiritually to the struggles parents face with self-perception. And we discussed the importance of encouragement, sparkling a child's flame, and realizing the only person we can truly change is ourselves. This is getting good. We are halfway. Next episode will dive even deeper into what social suicide means in the context of parenting and how it shapes the way we raise the next generation. So stay tuned. I'll see you next time.